This trans woman is trying to make fun of biological women who do not acknowledge trans women as real women. Let's watch.
I'm a woman and you will never be like me. I bleed every month, I give birth, and I suffer for my womanhood. Have you ever wondered what part of my womanhood triggered you into getting so defensive that you started comparing me to you?
Well, it's more the lack of womanhood that makes women speak up and say, we're not the same. How can women get triggered by your womanhood if you're not a woman? That doesn't make sense. Why would a man make a woman feel insecure about her own womanhood?
What are you trying to project? I'm not projecting anything. I'm a woman. Congratulations. I'm a woman too, but I don't feel the need to make others feel inferior.
Right, you don't do that at all. It sounds like you're insecure about not your womanhood, but about your transness, your identity as a trans woman. What about women triggers you so much that you can't accept yourself as a trans woman? Why do you feel the need to identify as a woman? Call yourself a woman instead of a trans woman? Why can't you acknowledge you're a gender dysphoric male and not a biological female? Why can't you accept biology and reality? What about reality triggers you so much?
You're not a woman. A woman has to give birth. You don't have ovaries. You can't give birth. Right, just like plenty of other women who removed theirs or were born without them. They're still women. You really don't see the cognitive dissonance, right? If women are supposed to have kids, and some of them can have kids but are still women, how can you say trans women are not women because they can have kids?
You don't see the misogyny, right? In comparing men who are on estrogen with biological females who cannot reproduce. You don't see the sexism in believing that women who can't reproduce for whatever reasons are the same as men. Biological females who can't reproduce are still biological females. Because no matter what you do to your body, you cannot change your sex. Do you know what I'm about to say, honey? Just because you are on estrogen and you have fake tits doesn't mean you're a woman now. All of the sudden, how can you say trans women are not women? Because they're not. Because of this thing called biology, if trans women are women, then trans women don't exist. Then they're just women.
They're women because that's how they were born. Then congratulations, you're now talking to a baby. What? I'm a little baby that was born 25 years ago. My hair is now brunette, definitely not ginger. Oh, and you see this pile of sand? It was born as sand, but currently identifies as a glass.
Cute. If a woman says, I'm a woman because I was born that way, she's talking about how she did not go through a gender medical transition in order to look like a woman. Her body naturally developed female features that you had to pay for to get. Trans activists like her have a really bad habit of pretending not to know what their opponents, what their critics, say to them. Argue. It's so frustrating and they should really get rid of that habit. And speaking of that, what if I told you there's a more enjoyable way to break your bad habits? The flavored air category is quickly emerging as the alternative to vaping and smoking. This movement towards healthier choices is being spearheaded by today's sponsor, Fume. Fume is an award-winning device that delivers delicious flavors to your mouth without the use of electronics, vapor, or heating elements. Instead, it uses a passive diffusing system that satisfies oral fixation in a more enjoyable way. Fume is not a vape, it does not contain nicotine, so it's not addictive. And you can get many yummy non-toxic flavors like crisp mint and orange vanilla. Don't you worry about charging it because Fume doesn't require batteries. I personally love how elegant and high quality the device feels. And also how it can be used as a fidget tool. I find it super stress relieving. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code OffensiveTranny to get your free topper. It's the perfect accessory to a Fume device. Slip it onto the mouthpiece for a softer, warmer feel. And if you're like me and you love to fidget, it's chewable and it's reusable. Head to tryfume.com, that is tryfum.com. Use code OffensiveTranny or scan the QR code on the screen here to get your free Fume topper when ordering your journey pack today. Thank you so much, Fume, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the video.
Yes, trans women are women, but we never claimed that we are biological women, so...
No, but you're claiming that biological men can sometimes be women.
Trans women are women with trans experiences.
Again, why are these people erasing transgenderism, transsexualism, whatever? That is weird, especially because I get told that I'm the one doing that. A woman is a biological female is a woman. So I do agree Women who have a trans experience are still women. I'm a woman with a trans experience. I mean, I would call it a gender dysphoric experience, but just because I'm on testosterone, got my uterus and ovaries removed, doesn't mean I'm suddenly a man.
Trans women are women. Think of it this way. Imagine the word woman as an umbrella, and below it, there are two categories. There are trans women and cis women. By the way, the meaning of cis, these are women who are not transgender, or sa definition nyo, biological women.
Wait a minute. Woman, two categories. Got it. There are women who are men, and then there are women who are women. No, something's not right. Speaking of right, let's talk about the directions, left and right. When claiming some men are women too, it's like claiming sometimes left is right. When you have to turn right, you actually are supposed to turn left. Then just say left.
What's important to take note or to remember is that the only time that we use the word cis, again, it's not a requirement, you don't need to use it, but it is only used and important when the topic involves trans women so that we can differentiate between trans and cis women. So with this, it's easier to understand the phrase trans women are women because not all women are trans and not all women are cis. All trans women are women and all cis women are women, but trans women are not cis women.
I'm rarely speechless. Right now I am. How does this make sense to anyone? As in anyone. Why is it offensive to say trans women are trans women? They have their own experience with their gender. Just because trans women and women both live their lives as women doesn't mean they share the same gender, because you can't separate sex and gender. Who's the one who claimed that gender doesn't exist? Was it Charlie Kirk?
Acknowledge that sex and gender are two separate things.
That's what I was going to say.
There are 0 genders, 2 sexes, and infinite personalities.
What?
Okay.
Gender doesn't exist.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Sex does. So the parts you're born with is who you are.
How does gender not exist?
Gender is a new term of the last 50 or 60 years. Personalities exist. We can agree with that. Proclivities or interests or likes exist.
I agree. Your sex is factual, objective. Your sex is a fact about you. Gender identity is subjective. It's not something you can measure, it's a choice, where your sex is not a choice. The only thing that's valid is your sex. If you're a male, you're a man. If you're a female, you're a woman. I, of course, use and believe in the terms men and women. But I only use the term woman when describing a biological female. And I only use the term man when describing a biological male.
It's also important to take note that our claim to womanhood does not take away the right or the experiences of cis women's experience of womanhood.
That's exactly what you're doing. When claiming men can experience womanhood, you're totally redefining womanhood to include men. And by doing so, you are taking away women's experiences with womanhood. It's like claiming if you affirm cats as dogs, it doesn't change anything about the definition of what it means to be a dog. Look, they're both animals, pets. Of course they have something in common, but they're not the same, and it's okay that they're not the same. Gender dysphoric males are not the same as women, and that's okay too. If you think it's offensive for me to say this, that's your problem. I can't change people's internalized sexism, in other words. I love when fake trans guys get offended when someone calls them women, because I'm wondering, why do you think being called a woman is an insult? You should get offended if people call you, well, names I can't say here on YouTube. But woman is not a slur. Man is not a slur either. Me calling these trans women men is just a fact. I'm not saying it to degrade them because I don't think there's anything wrong with being a trans woman, with men trying to live their lives as women to alleviate their gender dysphoria. Thank you all for watching this video, I really hope you liked it, and remember to check out Fume. Follow me on social media and I cannot wait to see you in the comments. Peace out.